Hey everyone, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, The First Purge. Alright, so this is, I think it's the prequel to all the other Purge movies, which is essentially, those other movies is about, they allow like, I want to say 24 hours, it could be 12, where all like capital crimes are forgiven. So you could murder people, you could rob people and stuff like that, and the idea is that it allows people with urges or things like that to get it out of their system for that one day, and it will reduce crime the other 363 days of the year, however many days there are in a year. So that's the theory. So this is the start of it. This political group says, let's do it. This is the story of this one, the synopsis. Let's do an experiment, and for 12 hours on Staten Island they are going to do that very thing to see if that works. And from what I read here, it says that if nobody has to stay on Staten Island, but if you do, you get $5,000. So $5,000 or risk being murdered. I don't know. I'd probably leave. But IMDb has it at 5.2. So that's not very good odds. And good ratings. And the movie is 1 hour and 37 minutes long. So anyway, I'll get into it a little bit and tell you what it's about. Tell you if it's any good. Give you a better idea of the synopsis. I don't know if there's anybody in here I know. I know Ethan Hawke was in the first one, but it doesn't look like I'm Marissa Tomei if I keep scrolling. So I don't see a lot of known people. So I'll get into it, see what it's about, check it out, and let you know how it's going. All right, be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in. We're watching The First Purge. We're only at the 25-minute mark and 2 seconds. 25 minutes and 2 seconds into the movie, but I wanted to quick clarify. Now, I had said they're going to incent people $5,000 to stay on the island, and it's like, why would you stay around for $5,000? I say that as I sit here in my own home, watching a movie and recording it and telling you about it. And they quickly explain it. I mean, they chose Staten Island because of the demographic. It's evidently a very impoverished, I mean, at least in the movie, I don't know if it is in real life, but very impoverished city. And so therefore people really need that 5,000. People who aren't gangsters and stuff like that are struggling to get by, and $5,000 would really help them out. And it also seems predominantly a black neighborhood as well. So I thought that was interesting that the movie directors, producers would take that tone with it. But anyway, that's the reason. And so this government that has been elected, president, it's not Democratic or Republican. It's a new one, a new founding fathers they are. And they come up with this idea, again, to purge one night. And they've been sending people not only to stay on the island, but they are also psychologically evaluating a lot of the people to see if they're angry. And if they are angry, they invite them to purge. And the more participation that they have during the purge, the more financial gain they can receive from it. They get a tracking system to make sure that they don't leave the island. And then they get contacts, which I think is the neat, that will record everything that they do. So they could track everything. I mean, not for this purpose, but the idea of having contacts in and having all that technology just in your sight, that's pretty cool. But what they're using for, not great. So that's where we're at right now. I wanted to explain that a little bit further. I felt bad the way I said it before. But you can see how people would be like, hey, I'll risk it. I'll try and stay inside, hunker down, or do whatever to try and make $5 grand for my family. And you can also see where the gangsters, the people, and things like that, who are like, the more I participate, the more money I can make, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it, So there's a financial incentive across the board that people really need. So that's where we are. We are less than an hour away from the purge actually starting on the movie. So we'll see what happens. If anything interesting happens during the purge or anything like that, I'll check in. If not, maybe I'll just see at the credits. But that's where we are so far. It's interesting. Like I said, Marissa Tomei is still the only actress I know in this. There's one other guy I recognize, but I can't think of his name. But he says the funniest line in the whole movie about the Three Stooges. So if you watch that, look for that line because I laughed. Okay, enough. Back to the movie. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of The First Purge, and I'd say I'm highly disappointed. And I think if you listen to everything that I've said so far, it becomes plain as day of what this movie is truly about, and you know, everything that goes along with it. As I'm saying everything that I was saying in the beginning, you know, the wheels start turning in your head, and you're thinking, okay, what is this truly about? So real quick, one thing that I thought was interesting, so they have this purge coming, and they had sent everybody, and so the people, the good people who still want to make money, but don't really want to purge or anything like that, they all gather, well, a bunch of them gather in a church. And I thought right away at that point, like, you know, if I was a purger and they're going to reward me for, you know, a lot of purges, why don't you pretend to be one of those good people, go into the church, you have everybody gathered there, you know, and make a lot of money that way. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what they could have done there. But what happens is, first of all, it's a completely racial movie. I had no idea. Like I said, I thought it was interesting that they chose to make it a predominantly black neighborhood, but they did that on purpose. So it was all racially charged throughout the entire movie. Even the KKK was involved in this. But they start to purge, and that's somewhat of a spoiler, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully I'm saving you from watching this movie, but it doesn't go as well as planned. They expected a lot more purging to take place, and it didn't. So of course, when the government in the movies or whenever doesn't get what they want, what are they going to do? They're going to intercede, right? As you can imagine. So, and then, you know, like, the whole theory behind the purge is essentially, you know, that people will get their aggression out, get their urges out during this one day, and crime would come down. But you think about it, okay, really, is that really what they wanted, the government? And I won't give you all the answers, but I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this whole thing out and really what it was about. So it's very racially charged and politically charged movie, which took away the fun for me. Not that the Purge movie should be fun, you know what I mean? It's probably bad enough that I'm watching this kind of thing on TV, but, you know, you just, again, escape into a fantasy world type of thing, and you want to see how it all started with the, you know, how did they come up with it and stuff like that, but when you find out, it's not worth the time. I'm going to give it a 4. 4 from Kimmel's Irish Pub. Not worth watching, and I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. And that's all I got for you. The actors, like I said, the one other actor that I knew besides Marissa Tomei, his name was Steve Harris. Very minimal role in this. Everybody else didn't know. It centers around a kingpin of a drug cartel kind of guy, gang. He's the gang lord there in this whole Staten Island, so runs drugs and gangs and stuff like that. So he's one piece of it, and then his ex-girlfriend, and she has a little brother. They're really the center of the entire thing. She's kind of likable. You like her a little bit. She's a protester, protesting against the purge. You actually kind of like the drug dealer a little bit too. You know, doesn't seem like too bad of a guy. Whatever. They're your main characters. Not a lot of development there. Very small development. Hour and 35-minute. What are they going to do? They have their political agenda to spread, and you know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, you kind of like the little brother. I didn't like too much. So that's it for the actors in it. I didn't know who they were, but I don't want to go on and on about that stuff. One other thing I don't think I mentioned, and it's the only, when they put it into context, they glow. So they kind of did that. When you're walking around, you can tell who has the glowy eyes. They're purgers, and those who are not purging. Sorry, it's useless information. Stay away from this. Turn the channel. Find something else to watch. If you're not sure, check out some of my other reviews. There are some other good movies out there, and maybe you'll find something a little bit more interesting than this. Alright, that's it. Kimmel's Irish Pub.